This session is really important. Most of the people don't know where their energy comes from and where their money goes. If you don't know where it goes, you can't save. The question is, how much do you want to save? Okay, so during this session, you will learn the sneaky and ethical way to massively underpay for energy bills and have your family thanking you for the savings privilege. First, we'll talk about the electricity in Ontario, how to minimize your increasing energy bills, what to know to determine if this is financially viable for you, and other aspects to keep in mind. Our promise to you is that you'll get a step-by-step strategy to know how to save up to 85% of your energy bills for the next 20 years. We have some cool secrets for you. If you happen to have any questions, we'll do our best to address them through the chat box as we move along, or contact us once the presentation is over. This is an easy system for boosting your chances of grabbing pristine, exotic, and hands-on cost reduction for far less than the rest have to pay for. So let's level the ground field and understand a bit more about the electricity in Ontario. First, as we were saying, most of the people don't know where their energy comes from and where their money goes. If you don't know where it goes, then how can you possibly save? In Ontario, we rely on our local electricity utility, and utilities use a diverse mix of domestic fuels to make electricity. These include nuclear power, natural gas, along with renewable energy sources like wind, water, and, of course, the sun. The mix of resources is different in every province and region, depending upon what's most available and most affordable. Solar energy is one of the most abundant sources of energy and plays a growing and important role in our nation's energy mix. So, the first secret for saving up to 85% of your electricity bills is to know that some homes and businesses across the country are installing solar panels. That converts sunlight into electricity, which is cheaper in the long run, as we'll shortly look at. And given the sun doesn't shine all the time and solar panels cannot operate 24 by 7, most of these customers produce and use solar energy when the sun is up. They could also buy power from the utility company to balance their energy needs, especially when the panels don't produce, let's say at night. And at times, when the panels produce more power than what they use, then they can sell that extra energy back to the utility company. This is called net metering. So now, let's talk about how to minimize your increasing energy bills, specifically in Ontario. Things like electricity rate trends and a comparison with and without net metering. Starting with electricity rate trends, let's look at the Fraser Institute and the features we gathered from the data, shall we? The electricity prices increased 71% from 2008 to 2016, and prices jumped 15% between 2015 and 2016 alone. The energy rates have increased on an average of 8% annually. Therefore, this is a conservative projection of the on-mid and off-peak rates, as we're considering 3 more years at the current rates before they start increasing at a 7 to 8% annually once again. So for example, if we're currently paying for an on-peak electricity 13 cents, in 20 years we might be paying more than 60 cents per kilowatt hour. So now, let's look at a real life scenario. Here we're comparing what a family energy consumption was in blue
and what was paid for in orange from the years of 2011 to 2017. Notice that in 2014, this family consumed less energy but paid more. Now, let's assume that they will use the same amount of energy for the next 20 years. In orange are the projected annually utility payments without net metering, and in green are the projected savings with net metering. If this family accumulates all these savings in 20 years, they could save up to $30,000 or 85% of their electricity bills. So now you'll say, what's in it for me? Well, you'll be able to save up to 85% of your energy bills by generating your own electricity. For instance, if you consume and produce the same electricity, you only pay for the service charges to be tied to the grid, which is cheaper than paying the current high storage costs, but gives you the chance to become more independent faster as batteries become more affordable and more reliable through time. Next, we're going to show you another example. Let's say that you consume 100 units in a month, and your panels produce 150. The extra 50 are exported to the grid and credited to you in the next month's bill. In the next month, say you use 200 units, and your solar panels produce the same 150. This time, the extra 50 units from the previous month will be credited to you. As you can see, the grid acts as a battery bank, where credits and debits are carried out up to 12 months. For secret number 2, here are some overlooked aspects to determine if solar is financially viable for you. To answer this, it's important to understand what are your needs and opportunities, how much a system costs, and financials. We'll break down these questions and address them one by one, starting with what are your needs and opportunities. Here, we'll need to know how much are you paying for electricity? How many sun hours do you get? Is your location and your house optimal for solar? And if those questions are answered, then determine the right system size for you. And well, how much are you paying for electricity? Ontarians pay an average of $201 a month after taxes and regulatory fee, or 750 kilowatt hours. But there's quite a variation across the province. So, the first thing that we'd recommend is to go to your utility company's website and download your electricity bills, at least for the last 12 months. And with that, check for any spikes, like in summer due to the air conditioner, or in winter due to the furnace. This is to get a good average of how much electricity are you using. Now, how many sun hours do you get? Every city receives a different amount, as you can see in this image. So contact us or go to pvwatts.nrel.gov. Just enter your information and it will tell you how many sun hours you can expect. For instance, in Toronto, the average is 1,161 kilowatt hours per year, which is higher than major cities in Germany, which has been called the world's first major renewable energy economy. So let's demystify Canada, and in reality, it's a prime location for solar, as our temperatures keep the equipment in very good conditions, and we still get a pretty good sunshine to produce energy. Moving along to the next question, is your location and your house optimal for solar? For optimal, we mean if you have a good area south-facing to place panels, since we are in the northern hemisphere. But also it could be west or east facing, as solar panels are now more efficient and they can still produce around 90% of the expected energy. Are there objects blocking the area planned for solar, such as trees? For a house surrounded by a big forest with tall trees, solars may not be a good fit unless you can remove these obstacles. With all the information we've gathered up to this point, now you can get an idea of what is the system size for you. Dividing your annual energy consumption by the annual sunshine energy received in your city. For example, taking the annual consumption of the family mentioned before, which is 4,500 kilowatt hours, and divide that by the energy for the expected sunshine hours received in Toronto, which is 1,161 kilowatt hours. And we get 3.9 kilowatts, which is the estimated size for that particular family. This estimate doesn't consider efficiencies, direction, shades, etc. Next, we need to know how much does a system cost. The main components of a system are panels, inverters, wiring, racking, storage, which is optional, labor, and others. First, let's talk about solar panels. Currently, the spectrum of efficiency goes from 17 to 23%. That means the amount of sun hitting the panel actually being converted into energy. These limits keep growing, and you may get 30% in the future, but you'll pay for that extra efficiency. So, if you have a very limited roof space, like a smaller house, and there's not that much room to put them, then try to get more efficient panels. But if you have enough room, then a standard one may be more cost-effective. Warranty. Make sure your panels have a good warranty. For instance, Canadian Solar warrants that for a period of 25 years, the monocrystalline cells module will maintain a level of performance no less than 80%. After, they could continue working, but just may be less efficient. Cost. A 300 watt panel costs around 300 Canadian dollars, so it's approximately $1 per watt. Second, let's talk about inverters and other key components. Inverters convert the direct current from the panels to alternative current, which is the one we use in our homes. We have some options. The most affordable is a string inverter, which means you have several panels, let's say 10, and all of them go to one string. The problem here is if you have shading on one panel, all of your output will drop, like shading from trees or clouds, etc. The second option, and most expensive, is a microinverter. Each of these inverters go on every panel, so shading will not affect the other inverters. The third option is a mix. That involves an inverter and optimizers. These optimizer units sit on each solar panel as well, and conditions the output before the energy goes to the inverter. This is better for shading than the string inverters, but not as good as the microinverters. In terms of price, they're all in between. Other components are racking, wires and other electric materials, permitting, and labor for installation. In summary, as of 2018, a full system costs around 3 to 4 Canadian dollars per watt. Third, storage. If you wish to have a zero bill, then right now the only way is to use batteries and get off the grid. However, they're still very expensive. For example, a Tesla Powerwall costs around $6,000. They have a 10-year warranty, so you might need to replace them twice during the lifetime of your system. The good news is that Tesla and other companies in China are expanding their battery factories, so the expectations are that they'll become more affordable in the future. Lastly, to determine if solar is financially viable, let's make some numbers and see if what you're saving versus what you are paying is worth it. For that, we'll talk about payback period and financial options.
Starting with payback period, for the same family we've been discussing, assuming the system will be operating for 20 years, if it will cost $15,000 without batteries, and they'll save, let's say, around 30,000 Canadian dollars over the 20 years, then their payback period is around 13 years, considering that savings increase as time goes by. Now, if their system costs $31,000 with batteries and no grid usage is expected, then their payback period is approximately 20 years. In your case, if your bills are very low, probably doesn't make sense to go solar, financially speaking. But if you can spend in something and obtain pretty much double the amount in the system for the lifetime they have, then maybe it is worth it. So next, what about options for paying your system? Here are some. In Toronto, the Green Ontario Fund is offering a 3.5% interest rate for 15 years to help make easier for homeowners to avoid the upfront cost. This financing incentive may vary per city. Your bank may also offer a line of credit with a very reduced interest rate. For instance, a $15,000 system, if you choose 18 months for payment, it will be approximately $1,000 a month. And finally, if you like a paid system once operative, we also provide options like post-dated checks. These are just some examples for financing. And other aspects to consider are environmental benefits, independence, property value, and looks. The third secret is that with solar, you'll contribute to a sustainable environment for you, your family, and generations to come. As with the most common energy sources, the environmental impact could be devastating. For instance, nuclear power could be dangerous, in such way that just in Germany, 17 nuclear power stations will be shut down by 2022, following Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. Hydropower facilities could change the environment and affect the natural habitats in the dam areas. Moreover, gas plants produce carbon dioxide, which is being proven to be a direct cause for climate change. On the other hand, solar energy has a minimum environmental impact compared to any other sources of energy. And this energy is free and is available to all of us. Therefore, it's there for us to harvest and grow.
What I'm going to show you is the exact criteria I personally use for my own home and everyday's clients and customers, just like you. In my case, I'm doing these for independence, as I really enjoy the satisfaction driven from making my own energy and challenge the status quo of energy monopolies, and little by little become more and more independent. How about you? Also, I know this increases my property value. According to the National Renewable Energy Laboratories, each additional dollar in energy bill savings from my solar installation adds $20 to my property resale value. The exact figures varies per region and property to property, but isn't it nice to know that your installation will continue paying handsome dividends up to and including your move out date? And looks. I like to take care of the aesthetics. And for the project on the picture, we use black panels. Now we have more options, and not only the traditional blue with silver panels. Right now, let's recap everything you've discovered today. First, we talk about the source and prices of the electricity in Ontario, how you can minimize your increasing energy bills, how to determine if solar is financially viable to you, and finally, we learn other aspects to consider when going solar. So let me ask you, I know we had a limited time together. Given the time that we had, did we do a good job today of giving you stuff, even if you left the session right now, that you could use to help saving on your electricity bills? Let me know in the chat by saying yes or no. Did I earn the right to spend a few more minutes talking about how you can work with me to start saving in energy? Our company's mission is to help our customers to minimize their energy bills with renewable energy and make the world a better place to live. We'll help you transition your home for letting the sun to pay your bills and at the same time expedite the transformation to sustainable energy. You've listened to us, and you know what we're saying can help you reduce your energy bills dramatically. So here is what you're getting when you partner with us to get your own solar energy system.
We'll partner with you to determine the optimal solar system for your home that fits your budget and financial goals. We'll take care of the whole process, from the engineering, permitting. We'll purchase high-quality products, the installation, electrical inspection, connection to your utility company, commissioning, and at a very competitive price. On the other hand, you can continue working with your utility company and be subject to the energy increases and don't have any alternatives while the high maintenance cost and environmental impact continues. But as experts and family members, we think it's important to act now, so you don't have to wait. We know you're a busy person and we value your time the same as your business. If you are the first person to contact us and install your system, we'll give you an extra 10% on your installation. Unfortunately, if you don't get it now, you won't get to save this extra money. You don't lose anything just for getting a quote. Houses and companies are investing. We offer a 2-year workmanship warranty, and we use the highest quality products that offer great warranties. Imagine you lock today your energy costs and start saving. Isn't that awesome? Just contact us. Here's our email: info@sinergiamundial.com. Before we finalize our session, we're going to hand you with even more tips today. First, it's good to install your system ASAP and start getting the benefits. But stay tuned as the battery prices are dropping and their efficiency and capacity are going up. Second, check what's the coverage of your home insurance. Most materials may not be covered on your insurance, and it's probably cheaper to replace your system than to pay for additional premiums. Third, ask questions. With this information, our goal is not to make you an expert on the matter, but to provide you with some ideas on how you can save in energy costs with solar, so you can make an informed decision. We hope you have perceived this as a great session, and it is ending in a few minutes. As we covered lots of topics like electricity in Ontario, how to minimize your increasing energy bills, things to help you determine if solar is financially viable for you, and other aspects to consider when going solar. If you only got this as a training, we hope the content we shared adds value to you, and together we make a difference in this world. We know this is a next level trend with a lot of opportunities. Okay, so thank you so much for attending this webinar. Hope to see you over the next time, and may the sun be with you.